I have never seen this covered in the media. Maybe they have, and this is the story of how on March 7th, 2020, that was the day, March 13th, 2020, that was today's, today, 5 years ago today, Donald Trump shut down our government, did the right thing to stop the spread of COVID. And then 3 weeks later, on April 7th, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and all of the major media, the lead story that night on MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, every place, Fox News, the lead story was black people are dying from COVID more than twice as often as white people. Now, this was not some kind of genetic thing. Black people die more frequently of cancer than white people. They die more frequently of heart disease than white people. They die more frequently of, you name it, than white people because of 400 years of institutionalized racism that has kept such a large percentage of the black population in this country basically living in poverty. And these are, people who grow up poor and live in poverty tend not to have good diets and tend not to have, good immune systems, and they don't deal well with diseases. This is not rocket science. But when that story came out that people of color were dying at a much higher level, that was when Donald Trump sprang into action. And Jared Kushner and his little band of preppy 20-something white boys got together and said it would be a brilliant political strategy to, at that point in time, the outbreaks were only in 4 states, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, and Washington State, all blue states with blue governors, with Democratic governors, to blame it all on the Democrats and to start forcing the frontline workers, the essential workers, which are, heavily overrepresented by people of color, because these are the bus drivers and the clerks in the grocery stores and things like that. These tend to be, entry-level jobs or public-facing jobs to force, and not to mention the meatpacking plants, where Trump actually issued an executive order forcing people back to work. Virtually all of them black or Hispanic. And they were dying of COVID left and right. We had the highest COVID death rate in the world. 500,000 Americans died unnecessarily of COVID because Donald Trump decided, hey, it's just killing black people, and we've got to get this economy working again, or I'm going to lose the 2020 election, so let's just push people back to work. And started lying about the virus and lying about what was going on. And we heard Rush Limbaugh talking about this on April 7th. Oh, here's the racial component. I've been waiting for that. We had Tucker Carlson talking about it. It's time for the rest of us to start benefiting from those people going back to work. Just literally, these guys absolutely understood what they were doing, what they were talking about. Prior to that, the post office was prepared to send 650 million masks to every household, 5 masks to every household in America to protect against the spread of COVID. Those plans were canceled the first 2 weeks of April as part of this brilliant political strategy, this effective political strategy. And the fact that Donald Trump engaged in, and Jared Kushner engaged in what some people would arguably call genocide. The intentional allowing 500,000 Americans to die because of government policy, we ended up with, and to this day still have, the highest COVID death rate in the world, in the developed world. There's a few poor nations that are ahead of us, but just a very tiny 2, 3, I think only one, actually. I think Peru is the only one that's ahead of us. I haven't looked in 6 months, so it might have changed, but we still have this problem. And now, of course, it's spreading to measles as well. But this is an absolute crime in my mind. The title of my piece, and I encourage you to pass it along and share it with others, because most people don't know about this. They don't know about this basically conspiracy to kill black people to get the economy working again. It's titled "The 5-Year Cover-Up: How Trump's Racist COVID Strategy Got Buried." And it's over at hartmannreport.com. It's free. Anybody can read it. You can share it with anybody. You can forward it to anybody. You can post it on social media. The British medical journal Lancet, along with multiple other studies now, have all concluded that 500,000 Americans are dead right now. I knew a few of these people. Are dead right now unnecessarily. They didn't have to die. Had they been living in France, they wouldn't have died. If they were living in the UK, they wouldn't have died. If they were living in Norway, they wouldn't have died. If they were living in India, they wouldn't have died. If they were living in Colombia, they wouldn't have died. If they were living in Brazil, they wouldn't have died. But here they died because Trump was pushing people back to work starting in April, when we didn't have a vaccine until, I believe it was late December. And we should have joined the rest of the world and said, you know, we're going to keep this shutdown going for a little while here. This is just so wrong. Donald Trump was putting medical doctors on TV every day. I mean, you know, he started out good on this anniversary, 5 years ago today, March 13th. He actually was listening to Anthony Fauci, who was right about this, by the way. But by April 7th, 3 weeks later, when all of the media announced that, you know, this is killing black people, it's not killing white people, suddenly everything changed. The day after that was when Trump tweeted out, or retweeted a tweet that called for the firing of Anthony Fauci, who was working for Trump at the time. Deborah Birx writes about this in her autobiography, where she talks about this was the day that Donald Trump, she said, I trembled. She said, I felt the blood drain out of my face when Trump said, that's it, you know, no more lockdowns. We're going to force people back to work. The Defense Production Act, which was passed back, I think in the wake of World War I, it might have been World War II, but the Defense Production Act allows the president, in a case of national emergency, again, it was designed for world wars, allows the president to order an individual company in America to do things, right? FDR used the Defense Production Act to order the, auto companies to make tanks. So it must predate that. It must go back to that time. Harry Truman used it during the Korean War. I don't know if LBJ or Nixon used it, but Trump didn't want to use it to require the manufacturing of PPP, personal protective equipment, PPE, I guess. But he did use it to force the people who worked in meat packing plants back into work. I mean, just consider for a minute how crazy that is. We're going to use the Defense Production Act, something to protect the America during a time of a national emergency, to force black and brown people back to work into the jaws of COVID. And many of them died. But he wouldn't use it to protect America. And this guy's in the White House again?